On today's episode of the Angle of Attack Show, the trusty spam can, a Cessna 170B, mountains, meeting friends at the Knik Picnic strip, glaciers, and more glaciers, and dogs. My home, Alaska, is also home to some of the last true aviators. My mission? Grow as an aviator through flying with my neighbors and friends in the backcountry and beyond. At times I'll strike out on my own, even outside the 49th state, seeking new experiences, growing skills, staying sharp, and practicing safety. Jump aboard and ride along in this, another chapter of my aviation story. Nothing gets me out of bed at the butt crack of dawn quite like the promise of an aviation adventure ahead. So I would take off out of Homer, Alaska, my home, and head northbound. Along the way, enjoying the beautiful godlight over Keh-nick Bay as I climbed northbound over the mountains. Of course, the colors of this time of year are absolutely beautiful with the fall, with, of course, the changing leaves, and also the beautiful glacier water that graces this area. Now, our mission for the day would be meeting up with a bunch of other bush pilots at the Knik Picnic strip right in front of the Knik Glacier just outside of Palmer, Alaska, where a bunch of bush pilots from the area, both near and far, would get together, make new friends, enjoy all the flying things, and overall just commit some aviation. My first stop along the way would be in Soldotna, where I'd ride with my friend Terry in his 170.
Oh yeah, that frost is going bye-bye. Alright, let's do it.
I always enjoy flying with Terry because he's always a couple steps ahead, in this case already having the airplane warmed up for our cold morning flight up to the Knik Glacier.
Soldotna Airport, automated weather observation 1833 Zulu weather, wind 060 at 4, visibility
Okay,
more than
oil pressure's coming up, temperature's coming up,
condition clear
voltage is
below
good,
2000. Temperature
thermometer's set,
-2 Celsius.
fuel pressure's good, manifold pressure,
Celsius.
got 36 gallons of fuel on board.
05.
As you can tell there, a well-trained pilot is always checking that their aircraft is in good working condition before heading out on a trip, and we got a good reminder of that just a couple minutes later.
Push to talk not working.
Yeah.
I don't hear it on this side either.
Well, that's a drag.
That is a drag.
We found out that the push to talk, the way the pilots key the mic and talk on the radio, wasn't working correctly in the airplane, which was a problem.
Okay, there's got to be a loose connection right back here. You're going to take care of that before we leave.
Okay.
I've always known Terry to be a safe pilot, so he elected to go back and troubleshoot this issue before heading out on our trip.
Don't take pictures of this.
Part of the story.
By trade, Terry is a technician on the oil slope, so he definitely had this handled. With the audio issue finally fixed, check out this roar of the engine coming out of Soldotna. This area of Alaska is famous for its world-class fishing in the beautiful blue Kenai River that we followed as we were headed out of town. And then Terry and I got talking about the previous year where he competed in his first Valdez Stole competition where he did a great job.
Flip the throttle and carry it across the line.
Sliding to the north.
You did good for your first year.
Oh, I had a blast.
That's awesome.
It was so stinking fun.
So it was actually earlier on in the year that Terry and I flew together for the first time. He allowed me to come along for the poker run at the Valdez Stole competition, where we landed on the beautiful Hitchenbrook Island. And then later on in the day, he again would compete in his first ever Valdez Stole competition where I thought he did a fantastic job. You know, people always talk about flight hours. Terry has fewer flight hours than me, but he's definitely a better pilot than I am, a great stick and rudder guy, and I just really admire his skills and his attention to not only detail, but safety as well. Continuing on this trip, Terry and I would be headed northbound now for the rest of the Kenai Peninsula, then over the tidewaters of the Turnagain Arm and into the Chugach Mountains. Like me, Terry is the type of guy that really appreciates all the different geographic features around. So he and I were talking about the different mountains and glaciers and even how that applied to flying. And it's just cool to have someone that not only likes the flying, but also appreciates the scenery.
That glacier is so cool the way it's got that ridge of earth that comes down. I mean, start thinking about how many cubic yards of earth is in that little ridge that thing has moved over the years. It's just mind-boggling the power that's in those glaciers.
So now we're coming down into Inner Lake George with the beautiful Colony Glacier here, which we get a really close view of later. And now we're moving down into the Knik Glacier area. The Knik Glacier in and of itself is a very popular glacier because it's so close to Anchorage and Palmer. A lot of people come up here to play in their airplanes, and that's why this Knik Picnic strip is so nearby. So with these towering walls and this vast glacier, it's the perfect spot for this Knik Picnic strip, which we were now coming up on, and Terry would start to make his radio calls.
Knik traffic 00 Lima is crossing on the east side of the field, making left downwind for an east landing. Knik.
Now, at first glance, it looks like we're some of the first people that are going to be here. So from here on out, I'm going to let you guys just listen to the different traffic coming in and enjoy the scenery as Terry takes us into the Knik Picnic strip.
And Knik area traffic, brown and white sailor craft. We're about a half mile to the southwest. The picnic strip will be crossing midfield to join the left downwind, landing to the east, picnic strip, Knik. And I've got the other aircraft is turning base.
00 Lima turning base for east landing to Knik.
Knik high traffic, Affirmative Lima Zulu, directly overhead to picnic strip, 2,000 feet descending. Got both aircraft in sight, no factor. Lake George traffic helicopter 8 Alpha Sierra, Colony Glacier, maneuver and anti-flow climb.
Ready?
I am.
Knik traffic, flight of 3 is about a half mile down the river picnic strip here, inbound, and I got you, Rod. I'm going to do a overflight of the strip, and then I'll come in behind you guys.
Oh man.
Yeah, sailor craft left downwind for landing to the east picnic strip.
Like Mr. Frank Knapp.
Can you see me over the river right here? Not yet. I got you, yeah.
Ron Kazina, the organizer of the event in 16 Bravo, would do a flyby just as we got there.
Man, what a party.
There's Ron.
That's Ron right there.
Yeah, Ron
Doing
Kazina.
the flyby.
Having finally arrived in what Terry calls his trusty spam can, we were a bit surprised by just how chilly the wind really was, but we were standing next to a crackling fire, meeting new friends, and just enjoying all the arrivals as they came in. One thing I quickly learned when I go to gatherings like this is I learned that I had friends I never thought I had. One of those friends was Levi Althans, who brought his son and his dog Gyro, and Levi said that he was a big fan of our podcast. It's a pretty small aviation world. He and Terry hit it off pretty quickly, as they are both obviously Cessna 170 owners, so they are admiring each other's stuff. The aviation community really is quite small. At one point I didn't believe that, but it's proved to be true time and time again. In Alaska it's even smaller, and it's more important that there be a sense of community surrounding what we all love to do up here. Up here we have to watch each other's backs, be on the lookout for anyone in peril or trouble, and quite often lend a helping hand to a pilot in need. I found that's just the way things are up here. We take care of each other. It's a tight community. It is as vibrant as it's ever been, as we all have this unique desire to explore the Alaskan outdoors, have some fun while doing it, share it with others of course, and return home safely to our families. There really isn't a bad time of year to be flying in Alaska, and this chilly October afternoon, hanging out with friends old and new, will forever be etched in my memory as one of my favorite things I've ever done flying here in Alaska. But all good things do come to an end, of course in preparation for the next great adventure, so it did come time for everyone to head out from the Knik Picnic strip, and that also included eventually Terry and I, but not after everyone just had such a good time. So over the next few moments here, while this event wraps up, why don't we just let the airplanes speak for themselves? And that's a wrap here at the Knik Picnic Strip. It's good to wave to everyone, say goodbye, and taxi our way down to the end of the runway. I have to admit that it's quite exhilarating lining up with this runway on this gravel strip, just about to take off. Definitely a different departure than out of Soldotna.
Alright, getting traffic, 00 Lima is taking active runway departure to the east, and then turning southbound.
Like this right here, just take in this sight, this glacier ahead, gravel strip, nice bush plane, and here we go.
Bye, everyone. Look at that. Check over traffic, Piper 645 Romeo Foxtrot, westbound towards the Butte. We'll be leaving the airspace, 800 feet, south of Jim Creek, change it over to Palmer.
As we rounded out on our turn to the south, somehow it slipped my memory that as soon as we were going to make this turn, there's going to be all this ice just right underneath us, bright blue chunks of ice in the water. And this wasn't the end of it. This isn't the end of the story. Remember, I promised you we'd see Colony Glacier again. So Terry worked his way to Inner Lake George, which is right on Colony Glacier, where we'd do this amazing flyby. It goes without saying that this was the climax of the day, a visually stunning and almost surreal experience. I wish you, the viewer, could have been there with me in the cockpit to see it in real life. Apparent to me was the fact that Terry is an experienced and capable pilot here in Alaska, and that This type of flying isn't meant for everyone, not even myself, without further training. It's further proof why I soak up as much as I can on these great trips that I get to take, trying to learn as much as possible along the way, one day and one flight at a time. Now moving through the Kenai Peninsula, we were soon coming up again on Soldotna, the home base of the trusty spam can.
Soldotna traffic, Cessna 02 at Lima is 4 miles to the east, inbound making right traffic for 07 gravel, Soldotna. And Soldotna traffic, 03 at Lima is turning final for 07 gravel, Soldotna.
I considered shortening this landing clip, but I wanted to keep it a little longer to show you Terry's technique as he comes in here and does a high angle of attack, short landing. Listen to that stall warning horn go off and just how slow he really gets. This trip reminds me of a saying, a bumper sticker that I've seen, and that is, "Not all who wander are lost." It's through this wandering, adventuring, and flying that I feel I'm truly found. Out from behind my computer or smartphone and away from the cares of the world for a few fleeting moments, I do feel found. The Knik Picnic was a day to remember, shared with friends, and seared into my memory. Homer, Soldotna, over the mountains and through the woods and glaciers to Picnic Strip, then all the way back, and it's all thanks to Aviation. A big thanks goes to Terry and his trusty spam can for the wonderful trip up north. Also my good friend Mike Rushforth for the sensational music. Join us on the next adventure. Sign up for email updates at angleofattack.co for exclusive sneak peeks and other extras. Do you dream of being an aviator? Start your journey today at aviatortraining.com. Check us out on social media through Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Got an aviation video project in mind? To collaborate with or hire Angle of Attack, reach out and let's talk. Thanks for coming along on this adventure, and I hope you'll join us on the next journey. Until next time, throttle on!